Caesar is defeating the Gauls. Only Egypt, with its strategic granaries and vast treasuries of gold, still eludes the grasp of Rome. The city itself is becoming ever more corrupt as the last generation of the Roman Republic indulges in political backstabbing, endless lawsuits, scandalous love affairs, and occasional murder. In recent days, several Egyptian envoys have been viciously assassinated. Fearing that he will be next, the Egyptian ambassador Dio calls on his old friend Gordianus the Finder and all of his special skills for help. Thinking that he is investigating a straightforward political crime, Gordianus is instead plunged into the decadent milieu of Rome, where nothing is quite what it seems. The notorious beauty Clodia, the arrogant advocate Marcus Caelius, the lovesick poet Catullus, the eunuch priest Trigonian, the master politician Cicero. All are players in a deadly, seductive game of lust and murder. Poison, betrayals, and long-buried secrets confront Gordianus as events rush to their resolution in one of history's most famous trials. But even after the verdict is delivered, there are still secrets to be uncovered. Dedication to Rick. Part 1. Next. Chapter 1. 2 visitors at the front door, master. Belbo looked at me from under his brow and shifted from foot to foot uncertainly. Their names? They wouldn't say. Familiar faces? I've never seen them before, master. Did they say what they wanted? No, master. I pondered this for a moment and stared into the flames of the brazier. I see. 2 men. Not exactly, master. 2 visitors, you said. Are they both men or not? Well, Belbo said, wrinkling his brow, I'm pretty sure that one of them is a man. At least I think so. And the other? A woman, I think, or maybe not. He looked thoughtfully, but without much concern, into the middle distance, as if trying to remember what he had eaten for breakfast. I raised an eyebrow and looked beyond the flaming brazier, through the narrow window and into the garden, where the statue of Minerva kept watch over a little fish pond. The sun was beginning to lower. Days in Januarius are all too short, especially for a man of 54 like myself, old enough to feel the cold in his bones. But the daylight was still strong enough to see clearly, certainly clear enough to tell if someone at the door was male or female. Was Belbo's sight beginning to fail? Belbo is not the cleverest of slaves. What he lacks in brains he has always made up for with brawn. For a long time this hulking mass of bulging muscles and straw-colored hair had been my bodyguard, but in recent years his reflexes have grown noticeably slower. I had thought I might be able to start using him as a doorkeeper, reasoning that his long service at my side would enable him to recognize most of my visitors and that his size would intimidate those he didn't. Alas, if he could hardly even tell the difference between a man and a woman, it would hardly do to have him answering the door. Belbo ceased to ponder the middle distance and cleared his throat. Should I show them in, master? Let me see if I understand you. 2 strangers of indeterminate sex who refuse to give their names have come to call on a man with a lifetime's worth of enemies here in the most dangerous city in the world. Show them in, you ask? Why not? My sarcasm was apparently too subtle. Belbo nodded and left the room before I could call him back. A moment later he returned with my visitors. I stood to greet them and realized that Belbo's eyes were indeed still sharp, probably sharper than my own. Had I seen this couple across the street or walking through the forum, I might have taken them to be exactly what they appeared to be, a rather small young man with delicate features dressed in an ill-fitting toga and wearing a broad-brimmed hat, despite the less-than-sunny weather, and a much older, much larger woman wrapped in a stola that modestly covered her from head to toe. But on closer inspection, there was something amiss. I could see nothing of the young man's body, obscured as it was by the loose folds of his oversized toga, but his face was not quite right. There was no sign of a beard on his cheeks, and his soft, beautifully manicured hands moved with a delicacy that was not masculine. Also, instead of lying flat around his ears and the back of his neck, his hair appeared to have been pushed up under his hat, which meant it must be unusually long. The color of his hair was